I have sinned this time. Yahweh is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. Well, he's starting to get a hold of something now, ain't he? You know, there's a big difference between saying you're a sinner and actually recognizing the fact that you are. You know, someone can say, you know, I'm not righteous. I'm a sinner. But that's still not a plea for salvation. It's not the change. All that is words. He says, entreat Yahweh, for it is enough, that there be no more mighty thunderings in hell, and I will let you go, and you shall stay no longer. And Moses said unto him, as soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread above my hands unto Yahweh, and the thunder shall cease, neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know how that the earth is Yahweh's. But as for thee and thy servants, I know that you will not yet fear Yahweh Elohim. And the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was near, and the flax was boiled. But the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh, and spread abroad his hands unto Yahweh, and the thunderings and hail ceased, and rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sinned yet more, and hardened his heart, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as Yahweh had spoken by Moses. Moses knew that even though the words had come out of his mouth, that there hadn't been a change in his heart.
You think about it, it's amazing, because by this time, Pharaoh began to believe that Yahweh was a God. But he wasn't fearful of the God. He wasn't fearful of Elohim.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Well, he worked out his own salvation. He just did so without fear and trembling. He essentially tried to cop a deal with the creator of the heavens and the earth, and it didn't work out so well for him.
You know about the other stages, the one with Egypt, what was not true. I've not so many floods already, you know, and Moses at the top, you know, I want to have them.
You know, I found it interesting that the plants that were destroyed, the barley and the flax, are a lesser value than the wheat and the rye.
Jim Mom thinks that there was like years between the plagues. I mean, like the way we read them, it sounds like they happened like that. But he thinks because there were things that were destroyed, like that needed to be replaced.
Possibly. Can't you almost see it as like a foreshadowing of the wheat and the tares? And the wheat was spared, but the barley was not. The flax was not.
No, the barley basically was for animal feed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And wheat was for human consumption.
Which speaks of my understanding of the animal nature, of the fallen nature. The wheat represents the bread, which is, you know, the bread from heaven, so.
Absolutely. And the particular deity in the crosshairs now is Nut. Well,
I think it's pronounced
Newt, Nut. You know, it's kind of a funny thing. You know, when I get home from work every day and I walk in the door, there's a little one back there in glasses who will bound to the top of the stairs and say, "Hey, Nut." And I'll say to her, "Hey, Nut." We need to not do that. It's better than Newt, but. Yeah, we try to keep the outward appearance of us being a normal family. Now, this was the end of this particular Torah portion, but I wanted to go through and show that, the judgment against the false gods did not stop there.
Mm-hmm.
That we've got, with the plague of locusts was Seth, the god of storms and disorder. That Ra, the sun god, was the plague of darkness. Now then, that's an interesting thing because, it says that there was darkness throughout the land of Egypt, but there was light in the land of Goshen. And those who believe and trust in him, there is light. For those who don't, there is darkness. The last one, the death of the firstborn, was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was essentially God on earth. He was God in manly form. And by the killing of that firstborn, there could be no Pharaoh after him, not a rightful heir to the throne. Plagues in Revelation. If these things are a foreshadowing of things to come, everyone turn to Revelation chapter 16. Now we're going to play a little game, make sure everyone's paying attention. Every time we come across a plague poured out in Revelations, it was poured out in Egypt, I want to see a show of hands. Show me that you recognize it. All right? 16:1, it says, "Now I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon men, which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image." Now then, if Pharaoh was God on earth, do you think he expected people to bow down and worship him? And I'll interject here that prior to the first election of our current administration, there was a guy in Egypt selling many nice plaques with a picture of Barack Obama's likeness that says, Barack Obama, the Pharaoh of the whole world. Do I believe he's the Antichrist? Absolutely not. He hasn't got the popularity to be the Antichrist. But, there's people in our own media here who equate him to a Messiah status. The creator of the heavens and the earth will be recognized for what he is. He will be recognized for El Shaddai. We saw in Exodus that he'll take whatever steps necessary to make sure that happens. I fully expect it to happen again. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and the sea became the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and the fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and wast and shalt be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of the saints and the prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out from the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. Actually, we can take that back to Ra, the sun god, right? Yeah. And men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of God, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not their deeds. Pains and sores. Everyone get that one? And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole earth to gather them to the battle